Hey guys, I'm Rainsford with Rainsford Photography, where we're all about growing confidence for you, the wedding photographer. And today we're going to be talking about off-camera flash. And what really inspired this was one of our most popular videos is about using your bounce card. So if you haven't watched that, check it out. But we're going to be taking it to the next level today by talking about not just going beyond the speed light on your camera and talking about external off-camera flash. Y'all ready? Let's dive in. All right, friends, I'm going to be walking you through three things today. First, when to use off-camera flash and when not to. Second, what all the gear is associated with off-camera flash. And then third, how to get it all set up and functioning properly for you. So we're going to start off with step number one. When do you even use off-camera flash? All right, so the first thing is we want to talk about when we even use our off-camera flash setup and when we don't. So here's the thing, this is really easy to set up, as we'll see in a few minutes, but it still takes a minute. You still gotta get it out, you gotta set it up, you gotta put it in place, you gotta be able to get it all configured, turned on. And so what we don't want is we don't want this to become a distraction from missing a moment or a distraction from our people, from our bride and groom and their people on a wedding day. And so we really only pull this out in a few specific instances when we kind of have the time and the space to use it and when it's most effective. It may be beneficial in a lot of different scenarios, but is it actually necessary? It's only actually necessary in a couple different situations. So those situations for us typically are family formals, especially if they're happening indoors at a church or something like that. This will save your life, so you definitely want to be ready for that. The advantage there is that you can set it up before the ceremony or while the families are getting corralled, so you kind of have some space to get it set up. The other time when we use this is really just during the reception. So for introductions, when people are first coming in, we know exactly where they're going. They're going to the dance floor, so we can just set it up, stay put, use it. And then for first dances, because it's the same situation, we can just leave it in place because we know exactly where our subjects are going to be. Those are really the only two times that we use it, is during family formals and during the reception. And again, it's because those are the two times when we feel like we have the space to use this and when it gives us the largest benefit. So what we don't want is for this to become another stressor on the wedding day. You want to use it just enough to where you get as much value out of it without it being distraction or stressing you out even further, because there's plenty of that on a wedding day as it is. Now let's talk about what all the different pieces of equipment are for setting up a successful off-camera flash. We have, you've got a speed light, standard, typical speed light. You have this little box right here, which this is called a receiver, and it's linked to a trigger that we'll look at in just a second. Then we have this universal kind of adjustment head that goes on top of our stand, so you can loosen it and you can change the angle of your umbrella, which is what we typically use. And then, like I just mentioned, you've got your umbrella. Still here. The other option for, instead of an umbrella, is a softbox, which I've actually got one right here. Really, the advantages of an umbrella is that it's super easy to set up. I mean, you see this, get out of my way. You can just pop it open, pop it shut, just like that. With a softbox, it takes a lot more work to set up and take down. And so we typically use an umbrella during the reception. The times that we'll use a softbox is when we're inside, because the advantages of a softbox are that they really contain the kind of dispersed light. With an umbrella, you'll not only get light being diffused through the umbrella, but also reflected back off the umbrella, into the room. So if you're in a tight space, you may get a lot more or a lot different light than you were hoping for. Whereas with a softbox, you're really containing the light just to kind of the front surface of that softbox, so you can really minimize the reflected light around it. But during a reception, because they're typically in large open spaces or outdoors or in churches or things like that, the external umbrella is totally sufficient. So you've got your umbrella and then you've got a stand, just like this. Let's talk about the stand though for a second, because it's kind of important. It's really easy to overlook. We really recommend getting a big one, getting a big sturdy one. Not necessarily heavy, But the thing is you want to be able to like really get it up there. You want to be able to get it 10, 12 feet up in the air without it risking like wobbling all over the place and tipping over and falling on someone and you being sued. So we have a 13-foot Avenger aluminum light stand. It wasn't cheap, but it is like solid as a rock and has never fallen over on us. And we feel totally confident lifting it all the way up to that 13 feet, no problem. Whereas with some of our other ones, like the ones for this backdrop, I would never do that. So just be thinking about the kind of the robustness of your light stand when purchasing one. So now let's talk about what actually goes on your camera. What goes on your camera is this little guy right here, and this is called a trigger. And so all you do is you just attach it to your camera, and what this does is this sends a signal from your camera to the receiver that then fires the flash. So these two little guys, the trigger and the receiver, are what communicate with each other to make this thing fire when it's not connected to your camera. So all you do, once you've got all this set up, is you start from top to bottom. And so what that means is you turn on your flash, and then you turn on your receiver, and then you turn on your trigger, and then you turn on your camera. And then what you want to do is you want to hit this test button just to make sure that it's firing and working and the communication stream has been established so that it'll work when you take photos. Just like that. All right guys, now to show you just how easy it is to set this up, we're gonna do a quick speed test with all the different setup elements that you can see just how fast it is. So step one, stand, loosen it, set it out, nice wide base, set it down, take your adapter, screw it on top, bring this up so you guys can see it, tighten it down, just like that. Take your umbrella, I have my handy assistant helping me, AKA JP. Screw your umbrella in. Now you've got your speed light and your transceivers here somewhere. Receiver. You've got receiver. Just plug it in, lock it, screw it down on top of your stand, angle it down into your umbrella, open your umbrella. Now put on your trigger. I'll show you how to put that on just because you asked. Put that on, turn it on, top to bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're good to go, just like that. I hope that this has taken some of the intimidation out of off-camera flash, just to show you guys how easy it is to get it set up, how simple it is with all the different components. There's a lot more detail to this, but really these are the things you need to know to get started. So I hope this has been super helpful. If so, subscribe to our channel so you can see more content just like this coming out soon. Leave us a comment, like this video. Those things are super valuable for us and free for you. So it's pretty awesome. So till next time, see ya. Hey friends, this is Ryland from Rainsford. This is Ryland. I do speak about myself in the third person.